I think the final acceptance was after my mission, but I had moments in my mission where I would ask myself if I was gay. When I think back to elementary and middle school, I feel like I was a fairly normal kid. I loved having adventures with all of my friends, and I loved playing sports. I loved going to school. I loved a lot of the same things that a lot of my friends liked. I can look back now and can recognize some very clear differences between me and my friends. When one of my friends would talk about a boy being cute, I remember thinking that I never thought those things, that I must not be fully like them, but I thought that I was just focused on sports and on playing, and that I was appreciating somebody being cute but wasn't attracted. But by the time my junior year in high school came along, I was able to recognize more so my attractions to women, and this came through my feelings for one of my really good friends. We became really close, and these feelings just kept getting stronger and stronger, and I knew deep down that something was different, that I wasn't feeling what normal friends feel for each other, and that was really, really hard to navigate and to try and wrap my mind around. So I actually had a journal in high school that I would write nightly in, and there was one phrase that I would always write throughout this high school experience that I had with this friend, and I would always say that there is a secret about myself that no one will ever know. And that included myself. I was not going to admit to myself that this was something that was real for me. But after high school, I went and played softball in college, and there was a girl on my team that I felt a connection to, not only with like feelings and with emotions for each other, but also as far as physically, like cuddling and holding hands. It got to a point in our friendship that we brought up the topic of kissing, and I instantly panicked. I went still back into denial and was trying to shrug off these feelings, and I actually cut off our friendship completely, and I blamed everything on her. And I felt that that was maybe a coping or a defense mechanism so that I could again bury this even deeper inside me and not have this become a reality for me. And that's exactly what I did for years. Even afterwards, I didn't talk to her for years from that moment on. After a couple years of college, I chose to serve a mission. And very quickly when I got into my mission, I was able to recognize more attractions to women than I had previously. And during this year, the first year of my mission, was when I really started wondering about myself. I remember specifically asking myself, is this what this really is? And is this what I have been dealing with throughout my life? So when I got home from my mission, I knew that I needed to talk to somebody. And so I visited a therapist, and the moment that I talked to him about this, it was the first time that I had ever verbally stated that I dealt with this, and I need help. I need help with dealing with this. And I got to a point that I felt that suicide was something that would be a better option. And so I pondered on suicide a lot, and I literally was just living day to day, just on the mere hope that somehow this was going to work out. And so I went back and saw my therapist again, and he turned to me with tears in his eyes, and he said, I want you to fast and pray, and I want you to ask God what he thinks about you being attracted to women. It was finally at the end of the week that I knelt down in prayer, and I turned to God with one of the most heartfelt prayers that I've ever had in my life. And I remember feeling the sense of peace come over me. It wasn't a huge experience, but it was enough peace that I could feel that he loved me and that this wasn't my fault and that I didn't choose this. And after I got that peace, I said, if it's okay that I can, live my life in the gospel with this, how am I going to be able to do this? And I remember hearing the words. He said, just stay with me. He said, just a little longer, just stay with me. And I remember at that moment, I knew that I had to make this work somehow. I didn't know how, I didn't know what my life was gonna look like, but I knew that it was gonna be in the gospel. I knew that it was gonna be with God on my side, and that he was going to help me navigate through this experience that I was going to have to face. The greatest help that I received was from my aunt. She talked to me almost daily, and every single day she would just listen. And she would never give me any advice. She would never do anything like that. All she would say to me is, I love you. And she said, I love you no matter what you choose to do. And I remember feeling that love gave me more strength to stay within the gospel and to do what God wanted me to do than any quote or scripture or advice or anything that anyone had ever given me. It was her unconditional love. And being able to just talk and have her understand. She was trying the best she could to understand. She would ask me deep questions. She would ask me what it was like to have these attractions, and I felt that she cared, and I know that she cared. Coming out and telling people about being gay has been extremely terrifying, but it's also the most healing thing that I have ever done. I feel now, being around people that know that I'm gay, I'm able to be myself, and I'm not having to make up excuses of why I'm not dating or I'm not married or I'm not falling in love. What's been so great about this experience is that I've been able to understand what really makes me happy, and that is pleasing God. And I received my answer that this is what he wants me to do. And that happiness surpasses any happiness that I could get from anything temporally. And I want to fill my life with things that he wants me to fill it with, and with other things that make me happy, including sports and pretty much sports. Just kidding. I'm trying to think of what else makes me happy. Sorry.